The Hollyland LARK MAX 2 was just released. I have a lot of things to say about it, and this comes from the perspective of someone who does sound mixing and video production for a living. We shoot a ton of short form and long form content for our clients each month, so I'm excited to see if this could be a possible solution for some of these projects. Today we're going to be discussing everything that comes in the kit that I got, some of the other kits that are out there, the price points, pros, cons, pretty much everything that you can think of. So if you're looking for a wireless audio solution that doesn't break the bank, you're gonna wanna watch the rest of this video. Let's start with pricing. This kit comes in at $250, which is cheaper than most of the other mini mics that are on the mini mic market today. This kit comes with 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. The next step up comes with everything that you see here, plus the wireless earbuds. More on that later, and that kit comes in at $280. And lastly, you can pick up this kit with 4 transmitters and 1 receiver at $320. So let's go over everything that comes inside this kit. Let's start with these USB-C adapters. These are USB-C to 3.5, and this is so that you can put a wireless lav on these transmitters. I think it's really cool that they separated this to reduce the form factor on these transmitters. Next, you have 2 fur windscreens. You have a USB-C to lightning cable. You have a USB-C to USB-C cable. You have 2 magnets and a 3.5 TRS to 3.5 TRS cable. You also have a wireless Bluetooth dongle for the application. And then you have the charging box with a receiver. First, I want to talk about these transmitters. I love the form factor on these. According to Hollyland's website, these are the lightest on the market, weighing in at 9 grams, compared to the DJI Mic 2 that weighs in at 28 grams. If you ever put a DJI Mic 2 on your shirt, you know that they're pretty heavy and they can tend to weigh your shirt down. These don't do that. As you can see, I put one of these mics on my shirt and it's not weighing it down and causing a lot of drag that you see in some of the other microphones out there. These transmitters have these nice little snap clips, which I do love. And if you want to stick this mic on the inside of your shirt or on the inside of your lapel, this is really nice because you can actually hide this transmitter a little bit better. I do always recommend that you hide your microphones unless you're doing something like one of these YouTube videos. And that's because when you have a microphone showing or some of the light showing on some of these microphones, it tends to take people out of the content that you're creating. So let's go ahead and start with this receiver. It is a plastic construction, and on the outside you have a headphone out, you have a camera out, you have a lock button and a power button combination. Then you also have this dial wheel for moving through the menu. On the main screen, if you turn the wheel, it's just going to go ahead and change the volume of the receiver. On the front of the receiver, you have some of your telemetry data, and you also have both of the transmitters showing. It'll also tell you which color identifier is for each transmitter. More on that later. So jumping into the main sections of this menu, and you have a bunch of subsections. The first thing that we have is channel mode. So in channel mode, you can choose stereo, mono, or a safety track. Safety track is going to give you -6 decibels on a separate track. That's going to be just a safety version in case you ever clip. Mono is going to make both transmitters receive at the same time, and then stereo is going to separate them. So if you're in a situation where you need to record 2 talents and you don't want them both on the same channel, you're going to want to use stereo. The next section that we have is the mic settings, and the first one underneath this as a subsection is the mic gain. It goes all the way from -20 decibels all the way up to 20 decibels. You also have the option to do auto, and you can set that at low, medium, or high. So one of the big features with this is that it records at 32-bit float. And on the next section, you have your 32-bit float menu, and you can choose to do that on the internal recording at 24 or 32 bits. You're not locked into 32-bit float, or on the USB output. So why would you ever record a 32-bit float? Well, 32-bit float is for situations where you're not sure what's going to happen with the sound. So if you're in an uncontrolled environment, somebody might scream, or you're outside, it's a good idea to use 32-bit float, and it's going to give you a little bit more dynamic range at the cost of more bitrate. So the next section is one of the most exciting sections that I think is on this device, and that's the noise cancellation. Now, noise cancellation is not new on the mini mic market, but this is where you can actually slide it and sweep through different settings. So you can go all the way down from the 5 decibels all the way up to 25 decibels. If you ever use noise cancellation on something like the DJI Mic 2, you know that sometimes it's probably just a little bit too much, and it can start to sound tinny or extremely digitized. So it's really exciting that you can actually adjust this via this knob here and get the setting dialed in the way that you want to. Next, we have something new, and that's EQ, and you can choose hi-fi, low cut, or vocal boost. Another innovation on this device is the ability to format each of your transmitters right from this receiver. The way you used to have to do it on things like the DJI Mic 2 or the Sennheiser Profile 2 is connect it to your computer and format it through your computer. So let's say you forgot to clear your files and you're on set, you don't have a computer around. Well, you'd have to dig through and rummage around through a bunch of old files to find what you just recorded. Now, before you start recording, you just format right then and there and clear out all those old files and start recording. You also have the ability to lock the microphones right from the receiver. So let's say you don't want the talent to push one of the buttons that's on the transmitter. You can go ahead and lock it up right from the receiver, which I think is really cool. We also have the ability to turn on or off auto record on the next section. Next, we have a timed auto off, so you can just go ahead and set this to 15 minutes or never. Next, we have our mic IDs if you want those on or off. So this is a cool feature that they added to these where there's actually an LED indicator that signifies which one of these transmitters is which, and I'll show you that in the app later. And then lastly, for the mic section, we have the light control, and this is going to be for the LED indicator, and you can set that to off, low, or normal. Okay, our next main section is the monitoring. You can choose wired or wireless, and this is where I wanted to talk about the 2.4 gigahertz earbuds that you can get with this as an option. Now, I don't have it yet, but I did order them, and this is really interesting for this market because normally these systems would have, if they had a wireless monitoring system, it would be a Bluetooth system. The problem with Bluetooth is that there's lag. So you would be recording something and you might hear what people are saying, and then you would hear a second later in your ear the auto recording. So that's a problem because it just starts to sound jarring and it doesn't match up with what's going on the camera. So it's hard to really use it as a monitoring system. 2.4 gigahertz has much lower latency than Bluetooth. It's also less susceptible to things like RF interference. It's because of this, I'm going to put this inside my Pro sound bag because I can see myself using this system as a camera hop system to send an audio signal to a camera while also having an IEM or in-ear monitoring system that I can hand off to a director or a script supervisor that's nice and small in form factor. So next, this is nothing new. We have recommended settings. We've seen this in the DJI Mic 2 where you can choose the brand and model of your camera and it'll just set up automatic settings for you. Another huge innovation that Hollyland has done with this is they've actually installed time code on this. So you can turn time code on or off. And then the first section, we have time code out, and you will be able to send time code out from this device to a camera, which is something I've never seen in any of these mics in this market. If you're not sure what time code does, don't worry about it. If you want to know more about it, simply put, it just matches up the audio to the video, so that way in post-production, there is a sequence number that they can match it up to, like this one behind me. So then we have our time code mode. And in mode 1, we're going to have on the 3.5 jack, left and right. Left is going to be audio, right is going to be your time code. And on the USB side, you're going to have left as audio and right as time code. In mode 2, you're going to have both left and right on the 3.5 as audio, and then the USB is going to be audio left and time code right. In mode 3 on 3.5, left and right, you're going to have audio, and then the USB left and right, you're going to have time code. So this just gives you the ability to configure your time code for whatever fits your workflow. Next, we have FPS. Whenever you set time code, you have to make sure the time code matches the FPS of your camera. If you fail to do that, the time code will start to lag behind. So you always have to make sure whatever the frame rate on the camera is, the time code setting for the generator is exactly the same. For example, today we're recording at 23.98 frames per second on our camera. So we're just going to go ahead and select 23.98 on this generator. And then lastly, you have your timing method. So you can choose to time from 0. So that would mean your time code would start from 0, or you can do real time. So on the main screen of this receiver, if you swipe up, you have 3 shortcuts that you can choose. And this next section just allows you to customize those shortcuts. So on the first one, you can put in your noise cancellation, your mic ID, lock, mic, gain, and then you can also move those to any of these other shortcuts that you want to. The last main folder that we have is the settings. You have the ability to turn this receiver that is working with 2 transmitters into a 4 mic, 1 receiver system. You can also do your pairing here, change the brightness of the screen, adjust the phone speaker. So when you do playback from the phone app, you can turn that on or off, change your language, and then you have your factory reset and version information. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the phone app that comes with the Hollyland LARK MAX 2. When you open the app, you're just gonna go ahead and select whether you have a Bluetooth connection or a USB. Right now we have the USB connection using the Bluetooth dongle. On the top left, you have the device, which is the Hollyland LARK MAX 2. And on the top right, you have mic 1, mic 2, receiver, and the charging box. This is just gonna show you the battery life of all these devices. Underneath that, we have mic 1 and mic 2. Underneath that, we have RX pairing. So if you want to pair the receiver straight from the app, you can do that. Then you have your setup for 2 mic and 1 RX. If you want to change that to 4 mics and 1 receiver, you can do that there. Underneath that, you can go ahead and turn on or turn off your phone speaker whenever you're doing monitoring from your phone. You can also lock your transmitters straight from this application remotely. The next section is the noise cancellation. And if you just move this little fader, you can go ahead and adjust the noise cancellation level or turn it on and off. Underneath that, we have our gain. You can set it to high, medium, or low auto, or you can do it yourself manually by just sliding this bar here to the left and to the right. Next, we have channel mode, the mono, stereo, and safety track that we talked about earlier. Next, we have the bit depth. So for your internal recording and for USB output, you could choose 24-bit or 32-bit float. If you don't know which is best for you, I recommend just turning on 32-bit float. And then we have our mic identifiers. This is the LED lights that is attached to mic 1 and mic 2 that I showed you earlier. So mic 1 is purple, mic 2 is yellow. Lastly, we have the wireless monitoring. We don't have that connected right now, but if I did, there would be settings for that at the bottom. In the top right, we have our settings section. So we have our version information, our user manual, which is super helpful, the list of paired devices, and the ability to reset everything. I think it's really cool that they included the user manual inside this. I haven't seen that before in any of these other mini mics in the mini mic market. So this is going to be a sound test using only the Hollyland LARK MAX 2, and you're listening to it now. The missile knows where it is at all times. It knows this because it knows where it isn't. By subtracting where it's from, where it isn't, or where it isn't from, where it is, whichever is greater. It obtains a difference or deviation. The guidance subsystem uses deviations to generate corrective commands to drive the missile from a position where it is to a position where it isn't, and arriving at a position where it wasn't. It now is. Consequently, the position where it is now the position that it wasn't, and it follows that position that it was until it is now at the position that it wasn't. In the event that the position that it is in is not in the position that it wasn't, the system has acquired a variation, the variation being the difference between where the missile is and where the missile wasn't. If variation is considered to be a significant factor, it too may be corrected by the GEA. However, the missile must always know where it was. Today we had a lot to say about the LARK MAX 2, and you're probably wondering if you should get one or not by now. My recommendation is for the price point and what this does, this is probably the best mini mic on the market to date. When you take into account all the features that it has, the application, the ability to upgrade it to 4 transmitters, I don't think you can go wrong with these price points. For me, I'm definitely going to always have one of these inside my bag, even though I have the pro audio equipment that you see behind me. And this is just going to be an extra fail-safe in case one of those fail, or I'm going to be in a running gun situation where I need to grab a mic and a receiver really quickly. I also may use this as a camera hop to send a signal from my pro audio bags to the camera, and then also use the earbuds as the in-ear monitoring system for the director or the script supervisor. So if you're a content creator and you're looking to level up your wireless audio system, I think this is probably the best that you're going to find on the market right now, especially for this price point. I definitely recommend getting the Hollyland LARK MAX 2. I do want to say I'm not sponsored or paid to say this. This is just my own opinion, and that comes as a person who works as a sound mixer. Now, obviously, that being said, there's a lot in the pro world that this can't do, but I think for most applications for small content creators, this is going to work just fine. So I have worked with many of these mini mics over the past years, including the DJI Mic 1, DJI Mic 2, the Rode system, and the Sennheiser system. I do want to say if you include the application, the price point, and everything that's included, this definitely outperforms all of those. Well, that's everything I have to say about the LARK MAX 2. In the comments below, let me know if you got your hands on this system and what you think about it. If you haven't and are using maybe the DJI Mic 2 or the Sennheiser system, let me know what you think the limitations on those are or what you'd like to see improved in those systems. And of course, as always, if you found this video helpful, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on the giveaway that we're doing at 1 million subscribers.